It's a better, did you see anybody read that? That's what we have on the,
Yeah.
now we'll talk a little bit about that after, but this is the other product.
She had her nose right
And we'll slide that off for you. This has been looked at, this one here was actually a better sample than the first one we got. I thought that those are, what we're definitely gonna do, but we just wanna share, what we had. Stuff here we used first on the beacon sales.
Yes, I am.
Company. Yeah, they're a big distributor for a lot of products.
Yeah.
Jerry kind of Brian,
Yeah, I guess so.
Ted guys.
Oh, John,
I like the jacket. 4,000 Motor Club, AMC. Very nice. Banging on a few of them.
I did vote.
Not enough to count. Not enough to really matter yet.
Oh, you did vote. I thought you said you didn't vote.
Yeah?
Oh, sure.
He dragged me into it.
Did he?
Not kicking and screaming. He went on a couple of high school.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't say that. No.
Great thing
Yeah.
during his teenage.
So you bang them all up, must have.
Oh, yeah, well, we finished him when he was in college.
Sure. Now my middle son,
Hi, I'm Bill.
30-something, his son's there. Now, I started doing it with them. And they've been way more aggressive than I have. But now, more recently, my oldest son is also in so we all get together from time to time and go punch them all, but I don't have the kind of time to make what the energy go.
That's about when we started.
Yeah. So it's been fun. It's been great going to keeping, and we also go on the Merrimack River Bowl tonight. So it's been a lot of fun.
Just a great thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's been
My kids.
Wayne Como,
I know, I guess.
Jerry Pepe, and that's Allison. I need to go back and grab some more stuff.
So
Yeah, I
we'll be
grabbed
here
your
if you
pen,
need me.
but I wasn't sure exactly.
That's my folder and stuff, yeah.
Okay, so you just need to grab your pen and
This is one from my packet, this one you just gave me.
I entered, oh, you grabbed, I thought the packet that was on that other book was yours. So you had an extra. Oh, yeah. Where else?
The coat room is locked. Oh, no. No, oh, you can't see. You can't see it, that's why I take the last seat here. Oh, no, you can see it.
This is the 21st, right?
Geez, that was a low day of saying this. Take it easy when you go down. Alrighty. I was killing myself.
You got everybody in?
Yeah, I'll let you.
Yeah, Lean's getting something off the machine now. She'll be with us momentarily.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, but she's put these drug bills.
She did today. Yeah, there was a big signing ceremony on that.
What's going on there, Don?
Not much.
No?
Made you draw short straw today?
Yeah. Leo's got the Kansas City Trots, and Bob will be here later. And
How's the thing across the street going?
very good.
Yeah, I see the postings that they put up on Facebook. The postings they've been putting up on Facebook, I've seen those.
Yeah, they've got Facebook, and we've been getting a lot of nice donations.
Yeah,
And they expect probably make somewhere around $8,000 to $10,000 a year.
We're waiting on our town administrator to get some stuff on screen, so.
covering the operating costs.
Operating cost is $300 for rent, and then utilities. But people have stepped up and paid the
Oh,
rent,
that's nice.
and that for the first 6 months anyway, or 7 months,
Good.
and that. So you know, that helps, you know.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah, it makes it real profitable.
Yeah, well, it's good. No, it looks nice too.
Yeah,
You know, from the street appeal, so it looks good.
yeah, we've been, Enid and I work there this weekend. We work Saturday morning,
Yeah,
9 to noon, and
cool, good. I'm glad it's working out.
first Saturday of the month.
Good.
All set, Ted?
I'm good.
Tom?
Yeah.
Allison?
How's Linda's hip?
Oh, she's doing all right.
Good.
Yes.
All right,
Tell her hi.
folks. You all set? Welcome, everybody. We're gonna open up the meeting at, about 7:08, I guess, give or take. Apologize for the delay, but it's budget season and we're rushing, like the chairman would hate cut up. You want these now, or?
Yep.
Get a full board president, the town administrator, and recording secretary. All things considered, I'm gonna take and go out of order and approve the minutes after the fact and let Jerry speak first.
Okay, yep,
We already
works for
have
me.
a few minutes.
Yep.
Jerry Tippy, you're first on the agenda, sir. Where do you want me? Anywhere you're comfortable, within reason.
Thank you.
I guess I'm here to help answer questions. More than anything else. I understand, you know, you showed me there that you, on the town hall building, you several years ago put on some synthetic quote slate and had issues with it and whatever.
Yep.
I guess a little bit of background, in New Hampshire, there are primarily two roofing materials that are regularly used on sloped roofs: asphalt shingles and metal. Until relatively recently, asphalt shingles has had the vast majority of the market. Metal, although is making its way into the market and taking over a larger share of the market. Asphalt shingles are not really a consideration in this particular case. I'm making an assumption. I did look at the report that Jeff Trexler did several years ago on the structural analysis of it. Asphalt shingles will tend to retain snow.
Well, town meeting a year ago already told us no asphalt
Well,
shingles, so your assumption's correct.
Yeah, the
I'm-
town folks weren't
so-
interested in it.
Yeah, I'm just sort of going
Yeah.
through background, you know, that unless you wanna do structural renovations to the building, we can't really consider asphalt shingles, because the snow load will become too great for the structure that's over there. Because the old slate roof that was on there shed snow, so that's why it stood there for hundreds of years. Metal, obviously, will shed snow, so it's a consideration. The other material that we do get a little bit of in New Hampshire is slate, natural slate. It's used primarily on historic buildings, obviously because that's what was there at one point in time, and for historic purposes, people, towns, whatever, are putting slate back onto those roofs, or even sometimes new construction that wants to look like it's historic, might use slate. The obvious downside of true slate is that the cost can be anywhere between 2 and 3 times asphalt or metal. It'll last 75, 100 years with maintenance, but it's 2 to 3 times initial cost, so that's why you don't see it a lot. It's obviously a consideration if the town's willing to spend that kind of money on it. It certainly would be, quote, historic, you know, keeping with the historic value of the town hall. Going back to metal for a minute, general metal roofs, and by metal I'm not talking what you showed me there, Brian, right before the shingle. I'm talking about the standing seam type of metal roofing. Comes primarily either in steel or in aluminum. Steel was primarily used where you don't have a deck underneath it, where you might just have the joist or the beams, and the roofing needs to span in between those, so the steel gives it a higher structural strength, you know, that you can do it. You can do it in aluminum, but you just have to space, you know, the supporting members closer. The downside to steel is if the finish gets damaged, either during installation or during the course of its life up there, it's steel. Steel rusts. And so you start, as time goes by, you potentially are gonna get, rust stains up on the roof. So, in a case like this, where you do have a deck there already, I would steer you more, if you're inclined to go that direction, I would steer you more towards the aluminum. The cost differences aren't that great. It's made up in, the cost difference in materials made up in the installation things, but the cost difference isn't that great. Finishes on either one, the available finishes are about the same. You can go from, just a straight paint finish up to epoxies to what they call a fluorocarbon finish, which is almost like a 20-year warranty on the finish. Obviously, cost goes up with each one of those, but you can get that on either the steel or the aluminum. There are some other products out there in the roofing market. I mean, you have one on there, the steel looks like shingles. There are concrete materials that can look like slate or wood shakes. At least in my experience, I've not seen a lot of that in New Hampshire. So I'm not sure in terms of how well roofing contractors would be receptive to putting that type of material up there just because they're not familiar with it. If the board wants to go down that road, I'll have to do a little more research into those materials because I'm just not familiar with it. That's a background. Any questions? What else can I do to try to assist you at this
Well,
point?
maybe we should kind of tell Jerry where we think we've been with this project to
Yeah.
point, to this point.
Yes.
There was a committee, that was working on that building for a project. So they went out and did a lot of background work on, having an architect look at it. And somehow in the process, I think they kind of were focused on metal, whether that be aluminum, steel, whatever. We went out and put our RFP together, I don't know, last summer, was it? And we got very poor response. We did get good response on using Vermont slate. Poor response on using some sort of metal. The one sample that we had is not the one we showed you tonight. It was something really, I wouldn't put on my house. It was not very good quality. So we didn't go forward, and we kind of kicked it around a little bit more. Other folks came in and talked with us, and it was determined that we should maybe try to spec out the material better, and then go find a contractor that can sell that product. Or you go to someone like we did for this sample here. Came from Beacon Sales, and they sell the roofing. They don't do the install, but they sell the roofing. So we spoke with them and a couple of other folks, but this guy here from Beacon Sales, they sell a lot of different product. So what we're really looking for, I think, is help in generating a spec for the material for the roof.
And I can certainly do that.
And then behind that, of course,
Right, metal and slate?
yeah,
still?
I still think we need to consider both.
And that's fine. I
And-
mean, you can certainly put out,
Yeah.
a request for proposals, and you request two prices.
Well, that's what we did. That's what we tried to do.
Well, but what I meant
Yeah.
is, with maybe, as you're saying, a little more detailed.
Yeah, I don't think we did a good job at specking out the metal. I think we did okay with slate, cause slate is slate, pretty much, I think, from what I mean, there's some color variations and what have you, but
Those,
we,
yeah, the one thing you need to realize with slate is the color variations, depending on which color you select, determines on where it comes from. And if you go into some of the color variations, we can't get it up here in New England.
right,
And obviously, the cost goes up
right.
to ship it over here.
Yep.
Yes, I mean,
So that is-
Vermont Slate is the primary supplier
Yep.
of slate.
And that's what we had was Vermont slate.
That's what we
Yep.
specified.
Right.
Yeah.
So on the slate side of it, we specified, I think, and we had information for the right kind of, quality and that
Yeah.
sort of thing. So I think we did okay there, but we didn't do so good on the metal.
Okay,
But I think we need to revisit the whole thing, and then even after we've decided on the materials, we may need help in crafting the RFP. Because Jeff Trexler and others looked at what we did, and they didn't really have a concern with what we did, but some
What
of
we
the
did.
language in it. So we're trying to sharpen our pens on that, and then we've gotta, you know, do a better job, I think, of soliciting the bids and, you know, getting people to respond, because we got horrible response.
And obviously, how you put the RFP together, the language you use.
Yep.
Whether it's got ambiguities or what the contractor can view as ambiguities.
Right.
Sometimes they say, it's not worth my time.
Yeah, and that may be what happens.
Yeah.
We don't know. You know, we
No,
don't
but
know.
obviously you don't know. I mean, you
Right.
know, unless you call up people that, you
Right.
know,
Received it.
that received it and say, you know, hey, how come you didn't bid? And even then, because they wanna stay on your good graces,
Yeah.
they'll say, you know,
And I think-
"Oh, I was just too busy, you know,
Yeah.
I had too many other.
But I also think to some degree, folks who bid on the job are people who live in town or close to town,
Yeah.
and they look at the building and they knew that it had slate on it, and they weren't interested in putting anything else back up there but slate. So I think in their own mind, they made that decision, you know, they didn't tell us that, I'm making some
Yeah.
assumptions here, but, I don't think I'm too far from wrong when I say that.
And obviously, as I said, you know, when we do see slate in New Hampshire and New England, it's on, most of the time, it's on historic buildings.
Yeah.
You know, where they're trying to maintain that historic flavor. And, I mean, frankly, that's why, of course, the synthetic slates came out,
Yeah.
because again, the cost of slate is
Yeah.
relatively greater.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to give people the look of slate without the cost.
Yeah.
Have you had much experience with metal that's supposed to look like slate, you know, metal shingles or metal?
As I said, the metal shingles I haven't seen a lot of in New Hampshire, no. I mean, I'm assuming, and I can obviously look into it if we wanna go down that route, I mean, I'm assuming it goes on similar to any shingle product.
So,
I'm just not that familiar with it,
Jerry, this is the,
because I didn't see it up there.
this is the card for the gentleman who provided those samples.
Yeah.
If you wanted to
I have heard
jump
of
in
Beacon
there. Yeah,
Sales.
okay,
Again, you know, as you said, they sell
right,
the material.
yeah, and when you're talking with anybody selling you anything, they're
Yeah,
directing you, you know, down a particular path, so.
and you know, to me at least, you have to look at, you know, where is that material being produced, manufactured?
Right,
You know, that sort of tells you maybe where that market is primarily, you know, if you look at it that it's being manufactured out on the west coast.
Yep.
It's probably a west coast product,
right,
you know, and they're, and
you don't
somebody
wanna
like
say
a
environmental
Beacon
factors.
Sales, not that they're not good at what they do,
sure,
but they're trying to sell a product,
right,
you know.
You know, West
And-
Coast material is not necessarily, the product is not
Yeah.
gonna take and hold up to our environmental.
Well, you might hold up to the environment, but what I meant is, again, it's what contractors are used to working with.
right,
You know, and, you know, if you present a product that a contractor's not used to working with, they're either gonna say, no, I'm not gonna take the chance of something going wrong, because I'm not familiar with the product, or they're gonna jack the price up to cover that
Any
risk.
potential liability.
And the fact that it's gonna take them longer, a learning curve, if you will, to put it up there. Like I said, if you wanna go, you know, I'll certainly contact Beacon, get what information I can get.
yeah, I mean,
on
I
it,
just offer that as
Yeah.
a source, but.
and give you, you know, some feedback on what I think about it. I mean, I do know a few of the major roofing companies, you know, in New Hampshire that in the 40-plus years I've been in the business that I've had contact with, and, you know, frankly, I'll just give them, a couple of them a call and just say,
Yeah.
hey, have you had any experience with this product, what's your experience,
Right,
you know?
Yeah.
So I guess, and part of this goes back to the questions that were raised when, I guess the group here in Lyman, you know, sent me the email about the openness of my scope of service in the contract. That's why it's kind of open,
yeah,
because basically I'm here to help you.
Right, no, we appreciate you.
And so it's hard for me to, you know, other than saying, I'm here to help you,
yeah,
to describe a scope of services beyond that.
Yep.
You know, the bottom line is, I'll do what you ask me to do.
sure. So I think we should send Jerry everything we have,
Absolutely.
RFP wise, and, you know, Jeff Trexler's information and.
I've got Jeff's.
You already have all that?
Right.
Okay,
Jeff and I work together a lot.
okay, well, he recommended you, so.
I know he did.
Yeah,
He got me in on the school toilets that were here earlier.
well, lucky you. Yeah. Yeah,
As I said, Jeff and I work together a lot,
Yeah.
and actually, I think you were referring to the group that was working on the town hall, and her name escapes me right now.
Myers,
Well, Dennis Myers,
Dennis
I'm
Myers, yeah,
talking about the
Tiffany.
lady in town.
Tiffany
Oh, Tiffany.
Dodd?
Tiffany.
Yeah,
I actually worked with that group in terms of helping them with the code analysis,
okay.
the fire and the building code analysis in terms of their renovation, so I'm a little familiar with the work
Okay,
that they
good.
were doing as well. I mean, obviously, yeah, you had first CMK Architects and then Dennis Myers Architects, you know, doing the actual design. As I said, I was just helping them with the building and fire code issues.
Right.
So you're familiar with the building, that's good.
So I am familiar with the building.
Yeah, excellent, good.
The only thing I would suggest, jumping ahead just a little bit, is whatever material you decide that you put on there, that slate, or that imitation slate, we should strip everything off.
Oh, it's coming off, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
all-
we've,
It's plastic, it's that.
yeah.
Right. Well,
And it's not a good base, whatever it is,
Well,
yeah,
you could put a standing seam metal roof over the top of it,
yeah.
because essentially they just put sleepers down and,
Right.
you know, put it down over the top of it.
But as that stuff deteriorates and cracks and breaks off,
Well-
you get voids and.
That's what I'm saying, is my recommendation would be, as part of the RFP we put out, whatever product, whether it's metal, standing seam, metal shingle, slate, whatever,
Oh,
strip that roof back down to deck.
Mhm.
And if for no other reason than that, is it gives you, the town, a chance to make sure that deck is still in good condition.
Right.
Absolutely.
That whatever, I know it was just stripped before, but whatever leaks and whatever things were going on, we don't have an issue to do it with. And the other thing is, just giving a little plug for Jeff Trexler's report here, he would like at some time to get some big pieces of timber up into that attic.
Yeah, no, if we can do that at the same time.
And if you
that'd
strip
be nice.
everything down, it's a chance to
Yeah,
do separate contract maybe, but, you know, to get those timbers up there so that
It'll
you,
take some coordination, but yeah, that would be ideal to get something up there that they can.
because that's, as he tells me, that's the only way you're gonna get those big pieces of
yeah. you're
timber
not
up
gonna
in
do
there,
it
is to
any
cut a
other
hole
way.
in the roof and slide them in.
Or just pull the boards up,
They're-
whichever which works.
Well, that's what I meant.
Yeah,
Cut a hole.
but you have to
in the
open
boards.
them up somehow.
I
The
think
point is, you're not gonna-
pulling a chainsaw.
You're not gonna get them up the stairs, is the
No.
point. Anyway, yes.
Okay,
Alright, thoughts, gentlemen?
well, I'm thinking we need to, we have a contract signed for one thing, don't we?
Has it been rectified on the issues that?
No, it has not.
Oh.
I think you wanted to, I explained to you that we had our attorney review it, and
Yep.
there were some comments you wanted us to address.
No problem striking the clause on limiting, the liability to the limits of my insurance.
But you haven't sent me a
That's something my
revised-
insurance company likes, but. As I said, the scope of services, if you can think of a better way to word it, I'm perfectly happy to consider it, but it sort of has to be somewhat vague and open-ended.
Right.
But the bottom line is, I'm only gonna do what you tell me to do.
Yep.
The indemnification issue, there's no way I can sign a contract with indemnification. I lose my insurance if I do that, and frankly, I can't control the actions of other people. You know, I know your insurance company likes it, and because if they could get you, everybody that you work with to indemnify you, they don't have to pay a thing. I mean, my insurance company would love for you to indemnify me.
Well.
I mean,
That sounds like a Mexican
I'm
standoff.
responsible for my own actions, I mean, that's clear.
Yep.
Yep.
You know, if I somehow totally screw up, and I will get you certificates of insurance if you
Yeah.
need them. I have $500,000 in errors and omissions and $1 million in general liability, which I think should be more than enough for a project of this scope.
Yeah.
Okay, so
While Brian's perusing through that, Jerry.
Yeah.
I think the goal here also is to maintain the look of the building.
Yeah.
And I know you mentioned standing seam,
Right.
but I don't think standing seam is,
Okay.
you know, and also the synthetic roofing,
Yeah,
a very hard sell. Cause, you know, we've been burnt with the roof that's up there,
yeah.
and I know when we mentioned, cause one of the options was a synthetic roof, earlier on, and it, you know, we kicked that to the curb pretty
By the
fast.
synthetic, you mean the
Some sort of a
synthetic slate.
plastic roof or a
Plastic,
fake
right,
slate, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, natural
Well,
stone was
When,
fine.
but
and
when metal, when I just heard metal, the immediate thing that comes to mind to me
Yeah.
is the standing seam.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because again, that's what you see here
right.
in New Hampshire.
Oh,
along
you
with
see
the
it all over
asphalt,
the place.
You know,
Yeah.
so that's why I was focusing on the
No, that's fine, I
standing
just,
seam.
yeah, I think that, you know, the aesthetics, everybody likes the way the building looks today.
PDFs.
And I think that's kind of the look they wanna keep going with, going forward.
Well, then you're gonna have some kind of a, not natural slate, if,
Right.
you know, if the metal.
Oh, yeah, and I think that's acceptable.
Okay,
You know, that sample that we had there, you know, when we brought it in here, when it became available, you know, our reaction to it was, geez, it doesn't look too bad.
yeah,
You know, when you put it up on the roof, it's gonna be even further away, so it'll look better.
great.
Well,
Again, that's obviously the town's decision,
Right,
what
yeah,
product
but I
you
just
wanna
want you
put
to
out
think about that as
there.
you're
Yeah, no, that's fine.
picking materials.
I was gonna ask before we go away here, you know, what am I focusing on, and you're pretty much answering that.
Yeah, trying.
well, that's what I wonder, should we give him a, kind of a bill of, list of goods and services or what we're looking for?
Yeah, we probably ought to.
Yeah, cause I was looking at this and the scope is, like I said, it is kinda vague. I don't know if we wanna, can we add like a sentence that the board, selectmen will forward a specific list of duties and, or scope or something of that nature? Would
Yeah,
that be-
scope of work maybe?
Well,
Would that
again,
make sense?
that's what I was saying,
Yeah.
like, I left it vague because
Yeah.
going forward, I don't know what the
Sure.
scope
Well,
of
it
work is
does
gonna
have
be.
in here, it says all work will be at the direction of the board, so I
Yeah.
mean, it does.
Yeah, so
say
we'd
that.
just do it as an attachment.
I mean, I
Mhm.
listed in there obviously what I'm doing tonight, answering your
Sure.
questions. I said, if you want, you know, I'll put together the specs and the RFP, and then I said, if you want, I'm willing to be out here during construction.
Yeah, yeah,
And
I think that
and
the,
finish with
Mhm.
basically what you tell me to do.
yeah. Now, the RFP included materials and labor, you know, that we sent out,
Yeah.
but, so maybe we could peel it out of there for the material piece of it.
I'm not sure I follow, cause I was trying to just read.
The
what you-
material, the RFPs that we did included material and labor when we
Right.
sent out for bid,
Mhm.
but for this part of the project here for Jerry, couldn't we just take the material piece of that out, you know,
I'm not sure I follow, why would we take it out, I mean, that's what you're,
yeah, but Jerry's gonna help us pick a material, not so much the
oh, right, but I mean,
install.
Yeah, he's just gonna look, he's gonna look at what we put
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
and then-
Yeah.
I'd say, give me a copy of what you put out before, so at least
Yeah.
I know what was done
Yeah.
before,
absolutely.
didn't work.
Right,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not quote gonna copy it, because obviously I'm gonna put it together, I
Right.
need to be responsible for
Yeah.
what I'm
Yeah,
putting together.
understandable.
Um,
You're all set with the, that particular paragraph there that was at the bottom of page 2 and the beginning regarding the, what is it, the liability one?
The limitation of liability?
Yes.
Yeah, we can scratch that and I'll
Alright.
initial it along with you, that's fine.
Sounds good. Want that to work.
So I mean, as far as the scope of work and what you're telling me to do, I mean, you've got minutes of the meeting,
Yeah.
you know, that are basically gonna be the record of what you're asking me to do.
Yeah.
Put that there, so. I just cross up and you
Yeah.
can see from just that paragraph there, right?
Yeah.
That's the one.
Oh.
So the paragraph at
Yeah.
the bottom of page 2
Yeah.
and beginning there,
Make sure.
and just. Alright, so we'll put that.
Should probably initial that page.
Yep, absolutely. Alrighty. So, I missed half the conversation while I was reading, so.
That's okay.
Were we alright?
yeah, we're talking about the roof and keeping it kind of with the same look that the building is in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, just kind of.
basically, so we're gonna be looking at a natural slate, and then obviously the metal that you've got there, and maybe anything else that I can come
Yeah.
up with.
That was our two options that we were given
But,
direction from the town meeting was metal and slate.
Yeah,
So, I think
I mean, I'll do a little bit of research just to see if there is anything else out there that will give you the slate look,
Yeah.
not the plastic,
Yeah,
but the slate look.
yeah, that'd be a
We
real
got
hot
experience with
sell,
plastic.
yeah,
We got
As I
experience
said,
with plastic,
I'm
it's
not even gonna
horrible.
go there,
Yeah,
not
good
the
idea.
plastic,
yeah,
just to see if there is something else out there besides the one product
Sure.
that you've got already.
yeah, and that was just, cause that one guy had it, but,
Yeah.
we had other ones, that, one other one anyway, but like I said, it wasn't very good.
And, I mean, when you look at it, it may be, that there are multiple manufacturers that make basically the same product.
Could be.
And that's one thing I'll try to find out, and as I said, just go look and see if there's anything else out there that will give you the slate look, but is not natural slate and is not plastic.
Good.
I'm not sure what might be out there, but I'll look.
That's what we're looking for.
So as I understand, you're gonna do the research and help us pick out some materials, put
Yep.
together the RFP.
Yep.
For both whatever products.
Yep.
And we'll get it out there and see what we can come back.
Come back and have a meeting with you when, I'll
Mhm.
feed you stuff as I go along, but when
Absolutely, and they can send you everything we've
Yeah.
got that you
Yeah.
don't have already.
And, when we get to the final thing, maybe just another quick meeting to
Mhm.
go over anything, answer any questions, and get it out, and
Well, I know last
be
time.
ready to bid it in the spring, so you can do it in the summer.
Yep, sounds real good.
You good with that?
Yep.
So, that being the case, I'll make a motion that we accept and sign Mr. Tepe's, contract dated on January 13th with the pen and ink changes as of tonight.
Second.
Any discussion?
What'd you say?
Ted second.
Any discussion?
I think we've had it.
Alright, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Alright.
Excellent.
We appreciate your help on this, that's for sure.
Not a problem.
Yeah, if there's any of that literature you wanna take off the top of that
Yeah, I was gonna
cabinet,
say, if
you
I
can
can
have that, yeah,
take that,
yeah. I'd give you the samples, but I don't think they're ours to give, so.
I don't think Beacon would mind if I took them.
Probably not, but if you want them, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
I know where they are if I need them.
You give them to us, we own them, right?
Well,
The
yeah, I
samples.
guess, I don't know, he didn't say he wanted them back, so
Yeah.
I'll make the assumption that they're ours.
Yeah, I do, too.
I'll leave the sample here for now, in case, anybody in the town wants to look at them.
Yeah,
I know where they are if I need them,
yeah.
but I will take the,
Yeah, take the stuff that's on top of it, on the black cabinet, I think I put some, a couple folders that the guy gave me. Yeah. There you go. Yep. He's a local guy, I forget what it is.
Can we get a copy of that?
It's, local.
Scan that, that'd be great. Awesome. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Jerry,
Anything else for tonight?
that's been good.
Look forward to hearing
Yeah.
what you come up with.
Yep.
Looking
I mean, I
forward-
should have, something for probably in a couple of weeks.
Yep, we meet on Thursdays,
I would say, do you meet weekly?
yeah, just
Yes, until
connect with
summertime.
Lean and she'll,
Okay.
put you on the schedule.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that'd be
I'll
great,
obviously work through her.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
great,
so she runs the company. and I'll
okay, sir,
do that.
well, thank you, all right.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Come back to me. Okay.
Mr. Cook and Mr. Martin,
Here we are.
how we doing, gentlemen?
Very well, sir.
Come on up if you like. You can sit back there if you like, but.
Come on, why don't we sit up in the front, you know?
Are you, the only two, Mr. Holt?
I guess not. He was invited, but been very busy lately, so. Anyway, I was the one that called up and,
You guys have been on our radar to kind of do this sort of thing, we've just given out straight as well.
no, that's fine, it's fine. It's a meet and greet. You've known John better because he was able to make it to your function this summer, and I will apologize right now for not making it. Due to a big family issue, I couldn't do it, but I wanted to meet who you folks were. So, anyway, so we're from Bow, and we represent you in Dunbarton also, Merrimack 23, District 23. This is my first time being in the legislature, and one day I just started screaming at the television saying, God, why isn't anything going right? So I said I could do that or get involved, so I decided to get involved. And I'm not really a politician, but it was interesting going through the election cycle and everything. And here we are, it's our first year, my first year, his first year in the State House. And it's interesting, pays well, as you very well know. And
Almost as good as ours.
I hope so. It's $100 a year, I don't know.
Well, coming from Bo, you don't get a whole lot of mileage.
No, 8 miles, you know, and they just lowered the mileage rate. The federal rate went from 57 or 54 down to 50 cents a mile.
From 57 down to 54.
50 down to 54,
Gas
okay.
prices are going down, so it doesn't cost me much for cars.
Yep, exactly.
But it's enjoyable. So, we're both Republicans, as you may or may not know. So is JR, as you will. And we just wanted to introduce ourselves. And if there are any questions you have, and hot buttons are going on at the Capitol now, have you heard about them?
Well, before that,
Go ahead.
why don't, you know, you've been going, why don't you start, let them know what your committee assignment is.
That's a
and,
good point, yeah. I call it the pothole committee. As you probably know, each don't write that down. Big joke. Each legislator is assigned a committee. I'm assigned Public Works and Highways, which has, I know nothing about Public Works and Highways. My background for 35 years was in technology. I worked for Digital Equipment Corporation, I don't know if you've ever heard of them, for 30 years. I write for a technology blog right now, so they stick me on potholes. The hot topic right now in that committee, you may have seen on the news, is there's a proposal for I call it motor vehicle fuel efficiency tax. No, trust me, I'm against it. As far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna go out there in flames to make sure that doesn't pass. But that's the hottest thing we've got on our committee. So-
Full disclosure, I also work for the Department of Transportation, so.
Okay, well, no, fair enough. I didn't say I'm against raising funds to get the roads fixed. I just don't wanna see it going that way, because this is a broad-based tax, and it affects everybody. It started out nobly enough, you know, electric cars and hybrids. By the way, I own a hybrid. But it turned out anybody that gets more than 20 miles to the gallon gets to pay an extra tax. So I don't think it's going to go anywhere. We'll see.
Hard to say not knowing.
No, we'll find funds, I believe, and I think the committee believes, the best way to do this is to pay per mile somehow. Actual road use. Doesn't that make sense?
Use it, you know, when you pay.
I have no problem with that. The trouble is, and it's easy enough to do, because we can look at the odometers every year.
Right.
When you register, but the point is, what happens if you live in Salem, and most of your driving's done in Massachusetts?
So,
Is that quite, you know, when they talk about fairness, is that fair? You're not really using
and
Hampshire
then again,
roads.
you also got vice versa, you got all the people that work in.
And I'll use that argument, I will use that argument, very good,
But,
sir.
in all things, being what they are, aside, just because I work for the DOT,
Yeah,
sitting here though with this hat, I'm, how do you say, municipal friendly here, I mean, cause the block aid that we get for, you know, revenue coming into the town,
Right.
I think, I can't speak for these gentlemen, some things I notice is the fact that, you see a lot more reduction in revenue coming our way.
Right.
It's been promised over the course of time, you know, ruined meals tax,
Right.
you name it, there's a number of things.
right,
You know, the taxation of, poles, wires and such on the side of the road and the right of way, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's reducing our revenue,
right,
thus it's pushing up our tax rate and our taxes to our citizens. We've got people that can't afford to live in the town because the taxes go up, because we still have to pay our bills,
I understand.
so,
Yeah, Bo has a bigger problem than you guys have, because
Yes, you do.
we're losing a power station.
yes.
Whoa, that's big time, so. Anyway, that's what I do.
Okay. Yeah, well, you know, I'm John Martin, Bow resident, been there about 16 years now. I married well, and, my first term, second year, not, first year anymore.
Right,
And I sit on the Public Safety and Criminal Justice Committee. So I, you know, I get involved in a totally different field. Some of it may affect you
Yep.
as far as, any regulations of the police, like body worn cameras, things like that.
Yep.
Some of the, the penalties and fines, we get involved in that.
We also have,
Primarily this year, we've got, a lot of it is with the opioid crisis. And, you know, I have mixed feelings about what they've done with that so far. There's a big push by some people that, legalize marijuana,
Yes,
which,
so-
I am not a fan of. And, there's a few other things, we've got a whole wide range of stuff, ranging from, somebody wants to legalize prostitution. Some human trafficking bills, there's one on bestiality. Then, you know, the hot button is the redefining lewdness and female nudity.
Yeah, I heard about the thing over at Hampton
Yeah,
earlier.
they wanna ban, let's see, there's one bill to ban, they call it air lanterns, paper bags that they put candles in, they let them float away. There's another one to ban flamethrowers, which is, I've noticed a big problem in this area. And, yeah, the criminal justice has got 60 bills this session that we have to do between, well, by basically March 2nd, so the session has been over 100 criminal justice bills. And I will say, I've said it publicly and I'll say it again here, that some people have way too much time on their hands.
And, you know, to follow on with that, John, there's 600 bills our speaker told us that we have to handle this year. And you probably are all well aware, there's something good and something bad about New Hampshire legislature as far as bills goes. No bill gets put in a basket someplace, they all have to go through the system.
Yes.
So if you wanna put in a bill defining the granite as the state rock, that bill will go through the whole procedure, the hearings, the whole business. So you added those 600 bills, I mean, there's a good portion of them that are totally ridiculous, to be honest with you.
Remember the kids that put forth the bill last year, they
I
kind
know.
of.
Well, that didn't turn out too good, did it?
Yeah, that didn't go well for them.
However, there is some good that has come out of that, if you notice. Now, we're challenging the schools to go out and find dumb bills that, you know, old laws that we can reverse. That would be great. You know, like the one they're talking about now is, you can't pick seaweed after dark or on Sundays or something like that. They go, what?
Can't hardly seaweed after dark.
After dark, I mean,
There goes my mind.
And actually, they say it's a dumb law, but actually it's kinda timely because, all of a sudden seaweed is a big food product and, biofuel. Go figure. But that's it, but you know, I should probably make arrangements to, talk to your police and fire chief too at some point in time, because,
They're in training tonight, so.
oh, are they, okay.
Otherwise, they probably would've been here.
Yeah, see, I'm retired, so, one of the reasons why I'm on criminal justice, I asked for it, is because I worked at the prison for 21 years, and,
When did you retire?
I retired from there in 2002.
No, Randy Huntington?
Yep.
He's a good friend of mine.
We were acquainted,
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
he worked over in industry.
Yep.
And,
we should also point out, we're both members of Pioneer Sportsman, which is in Dunbarton. I'm a director of Pioneer Sportsman. I spend more time over here than I do in Bow. I buy my gas at Trailside Stroke Heavens Gas. You know, Page County Store, Country Store, that's where I'm with my twin grandsons every weekend. And we're at the Pioneer Sportsman at least once a week.
I can't suck up to you like that, but I have a good relationship with the historical commission.
Yes. He's come and stood locals many times, very good.
Well, I know, like, you, Dylan, if you wanna jump in here.
Well, I have, you know, a question, it has to do with, you know, Dunbarton's underserved when it comes to, telephone, internet,
Yes,
There's a couple bills
cable
about that.
cable TV,
yes.
you know, all of those things, and, you know, we have our own phone company here in town, and we're at the mercy of GSI for our internet. We don't have, fiber optic throughout the town, and it's in process, but at the, you know, we live just outside the, you know, state capital here, and it's shocking to me that, you know, we sit between a lot of towns that have all of those things, and we don't have it here. So I don't know what can be done at a state level to help, you know,
Funny that you
expedite
mention that.
that process here in Dunbarton to get somebody like a Fairpoint or a Comcast or, you know, or all of them. And
Yeah.
give us some choices, cause we don't have choices, so we're underserved when it comes to technology.
I did a little bit of research before tonight's meeting for some of the bills that are out there that are more municipal geared. I know House Bill 1479 is for a committee to explore broadband access for those that don't have it, like us.
Yeah,
And then you got House Bill 1572, which is a tax credit incentive to broadband companies to provide service to underserved areas like us.
So that would probably be in the Science Technology Committee,
Yeah.
wouldn't it? I guess I'll have to go sit in those sessions.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But, you know, let me say this, cause it's really important. if there's a bill that you're particularly interested in and you have information on, I can always take, if you haven't got the time, I can always take that information to the committee, or I can provide testimony to them. And if there's something that you feel that you've got a real pressing concern about, and, you know, feel free to lobby. You know, if you think there's something that we should vote on that would benefit the town, I mean, and granted, we're both from you know, and I hope that you continue to have your own representative, because I don't think it would be fair for one town to represent another town without a voice.
Yeah.
But if you feel a need to lobby, by all means, I'll give you my contact information before I leave. Feel free to lobby myself, Bill,
Yeah, you
and,
know, the technology and phone, and we hear it all the time here in town.
Yeah.
You know, what can you do?
I agree with you.
You know what? We really are stuck, you know, because the, you know, the GSI folks are, in the phone company are doing their best to put, you know, fiber optic to the town. The process is 5 years, $5 million, and let's face it, telephones are going away. So where's their motivation, you know, as a phone company?
Yeah.
Because cell phones, you know, taking over. I don't know, I wouldn't be all that anxious to spend the money if it were me.
8 miles from the State House, I don't have cell service.
Oh, I don't,
Need a
yeah,
tower
it's sketchy here too,
Wood Hill.
so
I can tell
don't
you,
feel
see,
We
bad.
need a tower
Yeah.
on Wood Hill,
Yeah.
but the money thing, all the neighbors want a piece of the pie on that.
Yeah.
Oh, Wood
Yeah,
Hill's
well,
a
I
good
mean, I live
location.
on, right over my property line is the Dunbarton town line, right
Yeah.
from Wood Hill into Twist Hill, so.
Yeah, I'm a mile below, well, I'm about halfway between, Wood Hill and, start at Twist Hill.
Okay. Yeah, so you're right down the road, real
Yeah,
close to me.
and I'm at the highest point in
The
town.
cell service
and
stinks.
My coverage is sketchy.
I'm not sure you want Comcast, I have.
Oh, I may
Comcast.
not, but I just threw it out
Bill
there.
just went up $50
Yeah.
a month.
No kidding.
Well, I'd like to go back to an antenna on my roof.
But you
Yes.
can't do that, I
I know
can't get
that,
anything.
cause I can't get
Well,
anything.
yeah, you can, but that's useless.
I don't like it, can't get a test pattern. But, yeah, if I could go back to an antenna, I'd have it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely.
I've still got one in my attic.
I
Yeah.
go into my
I'm gonna
house-
work that, because it does affect me too personally.
Yeah.
Because I'd
Well,
like to see
you have a
some,
whole town here, you know, all of us.
we suffer from that too, because over at the Pioneer Sportsman, we've had difficulties with the DSL and
Yeah.
the phone service.
Well,
So
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what we have
no
is
offense to the
DSLs.
telephone company, I mean, but they know the phone's going away.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's the
No, I
dodo.
understand.
And, you know, so keeping DSL here, it kind of is a requirement to have the phone, maybe,
Right.
you know, one hand wash the other.
Yeah,
So if we, you know, no one wants to come in and help us out.
yeah, it's kind of a monopoly, you know, for the phone company, for GSI.
I've been done
So,
with the phone company.
You know, not that they do a bad job, but
Yep, you would.
there are other better choices out there, I think. So, yeah, if you can help,
And we do, and the selectmen from Bow call us, please call us.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll leave cards here, whatever, give
Yeah.
us a call.
and,
Lenny knows what my email is, because I
Yeah.
sent you the message, so please let us
and
know.
continue to protect our rights to carry firearms and
That goes without saying.
concealed carry.
Well, there's also a bill in for liability for towns.
Yeah, I know, I
so
saw
if-
that. I don't
Yeah,
like that
that's
idea
going
either.
no place, don't
I
worry
don't like
about
that one either, I heard
No,
that
no,
tonight.
it's a liability, because I mean,
Yeah.
when someone shoots somebody.
Well, there's also another one that says you get a charge, the Department of Safety can charge whatever they want to do a background check on you. So, you know,
Should be a standard fee.
there should be no fee, this is for firearms.
And I don't understand why
It's a
that one
background
did not
check.
come to my committee.
Yeah, so there's a couple anti-gun bills
Yeah,
out there,
oh
right?
yeah, dude, what a shock. Yeah,
Let's continue.
Yeah, I just saw one on the news about having liability insurance for,
That's what, yeah,
yeah,
that was,
that's
yeah.
just excellent.
Well, yes, of course. Yeah, the liability insurance is, there's another one, that, we're going to hear, I think, either next week or the week after, on, you know, if you give an unsuitable person a firearm. There's one on, you know,
Define
if you're
unsuitable.
carrying
Yeah, what is that?
if you're carrying a firearm during burglary, or if you happen to steal a gun.
Yeah.
Which, you know, a lot of, you know, a lot of the libertarians say we've got enough laws, but, you know, if you're screwing with my rights and everybody else's rights, you know,
Yeah,
you deserve to suffer for it.
you have to have some common sense here, because, I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, don't worry, I've
Balancing
got my
act.
federal firearm, courier and relic license, I'm a collector. You know, I my old rusty stuff. And, so, yeah, I'll do, whatever it takes, whatever I can to, preserve the Second Amendment.
Both that way, no problem.
Yeah, well, you're members of the gun club, and I figured.
Well, we do have archery over there also.
Yeah, I know, yeah, I know.
Yeah, well, like I told Chief Cumberford over in Bow, the reason I carry a gun is because, when seconds count, the police are minutes away.
Yeah, I've heard that.
911 what?
So, anything else we can do for you, gentlemen? Ladies?
Pretty good.
I'll, just out of curiosity, if I don't normally have public comment till the end, but I mean, where you gentlemen are here, do you mind if we open it up for the audience? to-
No, not at all. I mean, we're representatives for.
That's what I kinda figured, but I wanna ask first, I mean, just,
Even if they don't like me, I'm still their representative.
yeah, absolutely. Folks, for
Give some of these out in
a
case.
moment here, we're gonna have a temporary, public comment. If you have any questions or concerns or thoughts that you wanna share with the representatives, by all means, please do.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, look
I
at that.
just wanted to
Came
make
out
a
perfect.
comment.
Let them get a chance to put their wits in order. Linda?
Just for the record, I have an antenna. And
You
I
do?
have about 20 channels.
Really? What are you on top of?
No,
No, I'm in the bottom of, I'm in the
I have about
bottom
20
of the
channels.
hole.
20
I-
from Boston? I mean, from Mass? Boston?
From
yeah.
Boston, yeah.
Really?
I've actually given up,
You don't get
Oh,
any-
I'd love to.
The dish.
I'd
I wiped my hands of
I'd
that
love to
bill.
give you up Comcast, but I can't.
Anybody else have any questions or thoughts, or, you know, anything you wanna share with them?
Want to yell at us, tell us we're not doing a good job, it's okay. Get paid big bucks, you know?
Yeah.
I back you up 100%, you get cable in here.
Can you pass a bill
Okay, well,
so the do not call policy applies to political calls?
Oh,
No, that's a
yeah.
federal issue, I'm sorry, yeah.
But how
I
did you
love
get
to-
this number?
Wait a minute, but see,
My
I don't
phone
get
rings
political
nonstop
calls.
and none of them are people I wanna talk to.
No, I know, I don't get political calls, I don't know what, I have a VoIP service, I
Well,
don't have
you're
a
in the
regular.
community, so they probably have your number blocked.
Although, yeah, no, I don't get any, I don't. And,
I just look at the caller ID, I don't know the number.
well, that's the other thing I do, by the way, that goes, I don't know about his, mine goes right to my cell phone.
Mine goes to my home, because I don't have cell service.
That's right.
But, you know, as far as those political calls, well, he doesn't get them because of the way he's set up, but I get a lot of them. Because all these campaigns seem to want, that they could care less about me as a person, they want my name. They want me to show up and sign something, or, you know, appear in, you know, on stage, or whatever. And I avoid that religiously because a fellow rep on my committee, he went to one candidate's office just to see what it was about, pick up some stuff, and asked him to just sign in. And he did, and about 2 weeks later, he found out that he was now the area coordinator for the campaign.
John, seriously, I answered a phone call from Cruz, and I said hello, and I said no thank you, and if you go to the Cruz website, my name is there as a supporter of Ted Cruz. Now, I have nothing against Ted Cruz, don't get me wrong, I'm not picking anybody,
Fine.
but I didn't sign up as a supporter of ours.
Well, you didn't think you did. You answered the phone.
Yeah, I answered the phone. Now, you could, Politico called me on the phone, said, did you know you're supporting Ted Cruz? I said, no.
All I ask is,
Yeah.
he's trying to get us cable and internet and all
Oh,
that.
hey, I'm with you. I wonder if there's a way for the town to run their own cable system,
They
or is
tried.
that just
Yeah.
beyond?
This has been an ongoing battle for 60 years now.
Oh, okay, no, sorry.
Over 60 years.
radio, come on.
And then. Yeah.
Hey, that's good. That's good.
Okay, you know what I'll do, I'll leave a couple of cards over here on the table, so if anybody has any issues they want to,
Well, thank you ever so much for having us. And again, my apologies for not making your
I
thing
get,
this past summer.
I get calls all over the country, I get emails.
All right, thank you.
We're talking. And, you know, and I
Thank
get,
you for
I get some of the
correspondence.
strangest
You're
emails.
very welcome. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much for coming, appreciate it.
Thank you for having me,
Absolutely.
Thank you too.
John Woods.
And by all means, you guys are welcome anytime.
Oh, it's it?
Yes.
Yeah, I got a couple more of these things, gotta get rid of them.
That would be an interesting story, I'm sure.
Oh, by the way, did you
Glad to
folks
see you
do
again.
street renumbering here in this town?
Well,
It's a bone of contention in both, this is not a
Yeah,
state
Chief
issue.
has talked to us about it.
911 came through and they have some recommendations, we haven't seen them all yet, the chief is still.
Yeah.
I just want you to understand one thing, the state does not mandate that.
Right.
No, no.
That's not what the selectmen impose that.
Oh, yeah, no.
The state does not mandate that, it's optional.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's why they have like a 10-page report of recommendations, and he's going through them and taking color what is
Yeah.
reasonable for us.
I'm suffering through that. The card says 82 page road, this is very important for you to understand, to hear. 82, but I'm 348 Page Road. It has caused me no end of grief. From my credit score went down 25 points because I moved.
What?
No, really. I moved. I didn't move. I missed packages. I mean, it goes on and on. Went down to Shooter's Outpost to go buy a handgun, and they go check the town map. Look, okay, you said 348 Page Road, key it in. I'm sorry, nobody lives there. We can't sell you a gun. No, seriously, luckily, I didn't change my driver's license. It still said 82, said, oh, we found somebody at 82, so that worked out all right. Plus, everybody has 10 days to change their address with the Department of Safety for their license. You should know this. So I think 90% of the town now is in, yeah, 90% of the town now is in contravention of that law, so I could turn them all in and make some money, I guess. Anyway, think real hard about doing this.
Because between Concord and the Dunbarton line, it's, you know, changes the name 3 times. After I met my wife the first time I went up to the house, she said, okay, well, when you go by the phone mobile station, I'm the 3rd 96.
Well, you got South Street, and you got Logging Hill, you got Bow Center Road, and you got Wood Hill.
Yeah, that's right.
And as soon as you cross the line, right there, literally, it becomes Twist Hill, all through Dunbar. At least we should straight.
At least somebody's got a little sanity.
So think real hard about changing those things, all right?
Thanks for having us.
Thank you guys. Good night.
Hey, folks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Leave a tip for you.
Yes,
Yep, that's what I got right
penciled
there.
it in, I penciled mine.
Recreation Committee.
How you been doing?
Soon as you're here.
Don't answer that.
Back to you.
I'm not with it.
How we doing, folks? Just for our edification, because I recognize faces on horrible names, so.
Right.
I think last time I saw one of you guys, you were on crutches or a cane or something like that last year.
On a boot.
Oh, you guys were, yeah, I think it was something like that. I recognize faces, but I'm horrible with names, so. That's what I've got there.
Makes sense for me, I can see right through it.
So, budget time. You guys have anything for us, or?
We do. I only made 1 copy, but it's a decrease for next year, from this coming budget season.
So it's just a 3-year committee, or?
There are 5.
Pat and Michelle Speckman.
Michelle Speckman also.
Not able to attend tonight.
Okay, that's good, at least. Unless you're doing copies. The profile report, I don't know, did any of you guys ever see that? It's on our website, we had that profile group through the,
I mentioned it last time I met with you in the library when we were talking, and I looked it up after.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there that a lot of people were mentioning that about the recreation committee and such like that. So I don't know if that's something you guys, kind of look at and, have some recommendations or thoughts on as a committee.
As the rec committee, a lot of us have been involved because of the programs that we run. So, when we look into the budget line items, I think it separates into some things. We don't lead by any stretch through the profile report. We certainly are open to public comment and we'd be happy to listen to what folks have and address that. But we run really the standard programs that we have for years in town. It hasn't changed much, as you can see.
No, I know, I used to be a director for basketball.
I remember you saying that. So for me personally, Ryan, I've been director for 6 years now. So prior to me was Mark Walmser, and then I mentioned you were involved 10 years ago at that point, or more. So
It's been a while.
there's some consistency there anyhow. Our role in rec, in terms of what we've talked about and what we wanna do is provide recreation to all ages within town. That can be attained through budget, which is why we're here today, but also we try to do things that involve, no budget and just for the town to get together and recreate for different things. The same, us 4 have been together for quite a while. We added Michelle as well,
who's not here tonight, that she represents softball for the town. From a budgetary timeframe and the things that we've been involved in, we can go through it. Basketball is currently running right now. Pat is starting an initiative involving ice skating, which we can talk about, that's no cost to the town, but certainly something that we're really amped up about heading into 2016. And then some heritage programs, as you can see, with Christmas, we do Easter events, as well as, I know many of you know, we used to run Old Home Day, which now there's a committee for that, we don't do that any longer. As about 3 years ago, I think we ceased organizing that. But happy to answer any questions that you have from a budgetary standpoint, we're happy to talk about that. So really, we came in today, submit our budget, and be open to dialogue. I think we need to enhance our dialogue. Historically speaking, in my 6 years, there hasn't been much of one. So, I think we need to change that as of right now.
Alright, well, I know, we just, part of the dialogue, I mean, kind of a sidebar, just before I forget it, cause it was on the top of my head. We just completed an MOU with the school regarding our relationship with them and such, and part of that